It's Gemma Stone from gemmastone.org, and it's time for another question and answer. The question for today is, Dear Gemma, I noticed that you have a lot on the go. You have your business, you have your kids, and I imagine you have some friends and family too. So what I want to know is, how do you hold it all together, and how do you keep yourself sane, given all the stuff you have going on in your life? Thanks so much for your video blogs. I look forward to them so much. Well, good question. So, how do I stay sane? So, there's a whole bunch of things that I have learned to do over the years to keep myself sane, and I don't always have it all together. There are certainly moments when I don't. But there's 12 strategies that I make sure that I integrate into my daily life. And so on this video blog, I'm going to share 6 of the strategies. And on the next video blog, I'll share the other 6 because I don't want to bore you with a really long video for today. So, the 6 that we're going to chat about today are presence, movement, greens, therapy, relationships, and sleep. So first, presence. If you've read my story, you know that I have a history of some struggles mentally. And there are things that are really powerful in keeping myself not going back to that dark place. And certainly the first one is presence. When it comes to depression, depression tends to be a disorder of the past. And when it comes to anxiety, anxiety tends to be a disorder of the future. And so I've suffered from both. And one of the things that keeps me from slipping back into either of them is being really present in what's happening right now. So often I have to remind myself that now is not then when I'm trying to go back to the past. And I have to remind myself that the future hasn't even happened yet. And so when I'm finding myself too much in the future and feeling a bit anxious, I have to pull myself back to the present. So presence is certainly one of the strategies that I use to keep myself sane. The next is movement. I find that if I don't move, if I'm sitting at my desk all day or sitting in my therapy chair all day, I find that my mental health starts to deteriorate. I start to get stressed and overwhelmed and frustrated, and so I make sure that there's movement in my everyday. Now with my boys, that makes it easy, right? We're always running around and playing, but sometimes, you know, if I haven't had a whole lot of time to play with them during the day, I make sure that I jump on my tread climber or go out for a walk or try to figure out some way to integrate movement into my day, whether it's yoga or Pilates or stretching, whatever it is. Movement is also a really, really key piece of keeping myself sane. Next is greens. Oh my goodness, greens. A few years ago, I got a juicer, and that is just tremendous. I used to drink coffee and would get super, super anxious. And now what I've done is I replace my coffee with green juice in the morning. And that makes all the difference. Actually, a few weeks ago, I slipped back into my coffee routine because my boys were up a lot for a few days and I wasn't getting much sleep. And so I turned to coffee to try to perk myself up. And immediately I noticed that I was more anxious and irritable and frustrated. And so I switched back to greens and I feel so much calmer. So greens, totally one of the things that helps to keep me grounded and sane. Therapy too. I have my own team of therapists to help keep me well. And so I have a psychologist and a coach, and I also see an intuitive healer. And along with a few other people like massage and chiro and naturopathy and all of those wonderful things. But I do have my team of people that I rely on when I'm feeling stressed or anxious or overwhelmed, because I really think that in order to be able to be a good therapist, you also have to be in a good mental space. And so I make sure I take really good care of my own mental space. Relationships, of course, key. Making sure that my relationships are as healthy as they possibly can be. And part of this process too was coming to terms with the part of me that really wanted everyone to like me and wanted to be friends with everyone. And it was really, really hard to help the people-pleasing part of me be okay with having some really key relationships. And so when it comes to relationships, I totally go for quality over quantity, and I have a few really, really key relationships, including relationships with my family, but also close friends. And that's really key, to be able to nurture the relationships that allow you to feel sane and grounded and have people that you can turn to when you need to. Relationships are like the foundation for me of life. And then finally, sleep. You know that I have 2 little ones, and so I am up usually 2 to 4 times a night. And so in order for me to get a really, really good sleep, I end up going to bed a little bit earlier than maybe the average person might, because sleep is so key for me. I know that if I don't have my sleep, I turn to my coffee, and then it's just downhill from there. So getting a really good sleep and doing everything I can to make sure that my sleep is as peaceful as it can be is also really key. So those are the 6 strategies. There's 6 more coming, and I hope this helps and answers your questions. And the other piece that I found is that you're going to find your own answers. In the path of figuring out what my 12 were, I tried a lot of different things, and some worked and some didn't work. So give yourself permission to let the things that don't work fall away so that you can fully commit to the things that will work for you. I hope you found this helpful, and I look forward to connecting with you next time. Bye for now.